Really proud of all the work that he's done, and I think he's got a future ahead of him. If you know who he is, please clap. It's Misha!
We were just talking backstage.
Yeah.
So, of course, it was awkward when I didn't come out.
You didn't come out.
Like,
I was like,
no!
yeah.
I promise he's here.
It's when Billy starts looking, that's when you get worried. Like, Billy's
Am I going to have to do another solo?
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
You think it?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Inside joke. Is it? What did I do? We've got
Something you want to tell us?
we have to say what the story is. What we
Yeah, maybe we should find out. What is the big congratulations?
Gary, who runs the whole convention, Gary and Adam run the convention, they're the reason we're all here. And backstage, he was like, hey, congratulations. And I go, thank you. And he was like, what'd you do? I'm like, I don't know. I know what you did, but it's something.
You know, I've noticed, so if I, back in the day, like, I would occasionally do, like, a play or something like that, and invariably, these were, like, little black box theater kind of productions, very low production value, very little rehearsal time, untrained actors, bad scripts, terrible performances, and at the end of the show, people who I knew who would come because they felt obligated to, would come up and say the only thing they could think of, which was, congratulations.
Yeah.
Because it's what you say when you don't you don't want to be dishonest and say that was a great show, but you want to say something.
Yeah.
And congratulations, is like
You did it.
You got through that.
You showed up.
and you were here. Good for you.
I saw you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, totally. Or is this also another good one? Did you have fun? Did you have fun up there? Don't ask me. Did you have fun? No, not tonight. Yeah. Anyway, I could stay all hour, guys, but this is his time. Misha Collins.
Hi, friends. Oh my God, that was so in unison. It was almost rehearsed. Congratulations. Nice work. What a fun thing to be here for the first time. Why have we never come here before? Why have you kept us from Michigan? What is it that you're trying to hide?
Don't worry about it. Can't tell you.
I don't trust you.
You probably shouldn't.
There's one very scary woman in the audience.
Yeah, kid. You're right not to trust us. And also be careful when you turn the ignition in your car.
Are you a car bomber?
Well, that depends. Do you want the results of when I put in the ignition starter in my own vehicle? Or not?
What? You're not supposed to say that depends. Hi everyone, so excited to be here. I went for a run in Detroit this morning. It was hot. I'm still perspiring here. What's that?
That's Michigan for you.
That's Michigan for you. Maybe that's why we haven't come. This is just going to be a call and response kind of a day. All of you people are futilely lining up at the microphone, but all these people are lazily just shouting things out from their seats. Well, I'm gonna say, why don't you go step forward to the microphone, young lady, and ask us a question.
Is this on?
Yeah. Oh, it's on.
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
I'm Sue, my first convention.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What made you decide to, at this stage, want
Well,
to
my
use your
daughter's been trying
virginity?
to talk me into watching the show for years, just years. And I decided to finally break down and watch it, and I have watched all 15 seasons 3 times already.
How long did that take you?
That's embarrassing. Probably about 4 months. I work midnight, so I watch several episodes in a day before I go to sleep.
You watched, you work at night?
Yeah, I work at a hospital. I'm a laboratory scientist.
Does that mean you're watching Supernatural at work?
Yes. If the workload permits me, yes. I'm in a small town up north, Cadillac.
Got it. There's your Medicaid dollars at work.
Don't say anything to my boss, please.
No, we wouldn't think of it, and nobody records these, so don't worry about it.
Well, I told my daughter, I called her and I wanted to ask him, she says, well, ask him if there's anything that he could change with his character cast still, what would it be? Okay, but I remember my question.
Oh, you did? Okay, so forget your daughter's stupid question.
I'm staying at the hotel here, I was wondering if you could be my pizza man tonight.
Based on the audience reaction, I feel like I could actually do pretty well as a pizza man. I have been thinking about getting a remodel done at my house, and I could use a little extra money.
I have lots of bloods. Maybe that's why you're at it, and I love you, Misha. I very much.
CW actor Misha Collins arrested for turning tricks in hotel corridor. Thank you for the business opportunity. I was a pizza delivery man, by the way. I mean, now that you're bringing it up, when I was in college, I got a job delivering pizzas, and I was in Chicago, and I had a Toyota Corolla station wagon that had an e-brake that you could pull up, and the roads were all icy, and so I would do parallel parking for delivering pizzas by pulling up the e-brake and spinning around 180 degrees and sliding up against the curb, and I literally thought I was a badass. My 1979 Toyota Corolla station wagon, which shows there's some serious psychosis here. But you can do pretty well delivering pizza. I never did have any really romantic encounters though. Although now that I mention it, the waitresses at the restaurant that I was delivering for did try to ply me with free desserts in order to curry favor. So maybe there was some opportunity there that I was missing. I just chose to see nothing but the desserts and gained 30 pounds that year. Oh, shit. Okay. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Good. You have a wonderful beard. No, thank you. Thank you for growing it. I mean, we're all the beneficiaries of your hard work. We get to look over there at that incredible manscaping and have people been fondling it here at the event? Do you have that problem? Do people just sort of reflexively reach out and stroke your beard?
Not here, but my niece loves it.
Your niece does. Okay, well that's sort of tame. That's good. When I had a beard like a year ago, and people were constantly putting their fingers in it. And I found it quite disturbing, actually.
That's the beer.
I tend to use the generally line, not the beard.
The beard. What do you want to talk about? Probably not your beard.
I was just curious on what's your favorite part about doing these cons and interacting with us?
I can't think of anything I like. The pizza. There were so many things that are so great about it. I mean, I love getting to interact with this community. When I first came to a convention, it was 2009. It was Creation Convention. It was my first convention in New Jersey. And I saw on the schedule that there was a panel, and I was like, oh cool, I wonder who I'll be doing a panel with. Because a panel is something that happens with multiple people. But Creation doesn't know that. And so I was handed a microphone, and I walked out on stage, and I was like, oh my God, I'm all by myself in front of all these people who are staring at me, expecting me to say something. What the fuck did I get myself into? And I actually very quickly discovered that there's something kind of fun about that interaction, but also at the first convention, people started bringing up in the autograph line the artwork that they had created. And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible artwork. There's some real creative genius in this fandom. And then shortly after I was on the show, there was an earthquake in Haiti, and I was like, oh my God, we should do something. Twitter had like just started to become a thing before it, I was going to say devolved into X. And so Twitter had like just come into existence, and I just started a Twitter page, and I tweeted like, hey, we should all donate to this UNICEF page. And I woke up the next morning and there were $30,000 in contributions that had come in. And it was a combination of like that experience, and then seeing all the creative work that people were putting into the artwork that they were creating as part of the fandom, and I was like, oh my God, there's actually like this incredible store of creative and beneficent, do-good energy potential in this community. And so I think actually over the years, my favorite thing and the most gratifying thing has been when we as a community have coalesced around projects or events that we are actually making a positive impact on the world somehow. I was just talking to my friend Giles Dooley, who is a combat photographer who's traveled around the world. He's always traveling. I was just on the phone with him on the drive into the convention this morning, and it was just coming home from his probably 7th trip to Ukraine in the last couple of years. And we were talking about the projects that we've done together, and just this like brief reflection, and it's this community that has made those possible. There's 500 women who were genocide survivors in Rwanda who now own the farmland that they work on because this community bought the farmland for them. There's a dance school in South Africa where they teach ballet, and in this township where the kids are so poor that they can't even afford shoes, but some of these kids wind up at Juilliard, and we're funding that school. We're still funding it and have been for years. There are Syrian refugee families that when we found them, the oldest child in the family wanted to kill herself in order to have enough food for the younger kids in the family, and now that daughter has just finished medical school. And we paid for them to get housing, and we paid for their education, and we paid for their medical care. And it's like this weird little CW show about 2 brain-dead underwear models. And somehow, we've coalesced around that show to create a community that actually does positive things in the world. That's my favorite part about it. And there's so many other wonderful things about it, but that's one.
Dean, and
Dean?
yeah.
That's a dumb name. Just kidding, just kidding. I'm not gonna make fun of you. I did already make fun of you.
So, as not only an autistic person, but a gay and trans person, Castiel's entire journey means the absolute world to me. And I want to know how it felt for you to portray him the way that you did.
I spoke to Robert Behrens, who was one of the show's executive producers and writers at the very end of season 14. And he said, Misha, I have an idea for the end of the show, and I'd like to run it by you. And he described the final scene between Cass and Dean. And he said, how would you feel about doing that? And I was like, oh my God, that would be so gratifying and so meaningful and totally something that I would fight for. I actually never believed that the show would allow. Supernatural over the years made winks and nods to that potential relationship between Cass and Dean, but it was never canon. It was never overt. It was always like innuendo, right? And I always thought that the network and the studio would keep it in that realm, that they weren't going to jump the shark and actually make Cass gay. Like, what? And they did. And I was like really proud of everyone involved that we took, because honestly, culture changes so quickly and the pendulum swings back and forth, as we know. But even back in 2020, it was still like, what? You're gonna really do that? And now it feels like, of course you did that. But at the time, it felt like a big deal. And I think part of it was that the show about these two brain dead underwear models was like really grounded in a kind of traditional American macho male tropes. Like these are brothers and they're dudes and they're fighting and they've got a trunk full of guns and they're driving around the Midwest of the United States. And to have like one of the guys in the group be like, oh, and P.S. I'm gay for you, was like, we can't do that. And we did it. And I was super proud of it. I was really glad to be a part of that because it was just like sending a message that that we can be brave about these kind of things, but also like inclusive. And I love that Cass was not rejected in that moment, The show could have also done. So anyway, I'm happy about it. And I know there's like a little shout out to Bob Barrett. He was like ready to move on because he wanted to do other shows himself and he had other creative projects. And after Supernatural, he did go on to be a showrunner himself. And he was like, Misha, if you want to do this, I'll stick around for another year. Otherwise, I'm going to go work on my own show. But if you want to do that scene at the end of season 15 and have that be the end of Castiel's arc, then I will stay on the show for another year for that, which is pretty awesome that he did that. Hi.
Hello, I'm Nixie.
Hi.
So my question is, if you had to face off between a bear and a shark, which would you choose? There is a correct answer.
Okay. I have more questions for you. Is this fight that takes place between me and the bear or me and the shark on land or in the water?
So bear on land, shark in water, because they have to be in their natural environments.
That sucks. Because I would be happy to take on a bear in the water and a shark on the land, but so when this was like maybe the first like 5 years of working on Supernatural. Jared used to do this thing that was like my favorite thing in the world. We would be on location somewhere or out at dinner somewhere or something, and he would pretend to be the stupidest person in the world, but do it with a straight face. I mean, he's uniquely positioned to pull this off, but he would do it with a total straight face and just like keep going with it. And we were filming one day on a farm, and
the farmer was there sort of just giving us, before we started shooting, yeah, the farmer happened to be there. Usually this is very common, like the person that owns the property where we're filming is sort of milling about and maybe even chit-chatting with the actors or whatever. So the farmer happened to be there. We were in his garden, and there were like these big gopher holes. And Jared was like, "What are those?" And the guy was like, "Well, those are gopher holes. We have a big gopher problem. It's like a big part of the job here is like taking care of the gophers." And Jared was like, "Wow, that's intense. Do you ever have trouble with any other animals? Like, you have sharks here?" Mind you, we're 30 miles from any body of water. And the farmer was like, "I'm sorry, what?" And Jared was like, "Well, I don't even like want to go near those holes. Like, is it possible that there might be a shark in one of them?" Totally straight faced, and the guy looked at me like, "Help." And I was just like, sorry, I can't. And Jared kept going, and the farmer was like, slowly backing away from the crazy man. You can see what I'm doing, huh? I'm stalling because I don't know how to answer your question. So my answer is I always travel with one of those like early 19th century sleds that have the little rails under it. I always have one with me, and that gives me a distinct advantage against the shark, because if it opens its mouth, I can wedge that sled in its mouth, and then it can't shut its jaws, so the answer is the shark.
That is the correct answer. You can turn a shark over and immobilize it.
Or that. That was a really long and convoluted way to share a super nerdy bit of news. Nice work. Hi.
Hi, my name is Brooke. I was
Hi,
wondering
Brooke.
if you were to take a road trip across the country with someone from the Supernatural cast, who would you take with you?
Probably baby.
Maybe I should have been more specific.
Yeah.
You're already driving baby. Let's just say that. You're driving baby.
Okay, probably Dean, so that there's somebody who can fix baby when it inevitably breaks down because it's a 50-year-old vehicle. Didn't it bother you? Nobody seemed to be bothered by the fact, first of all, the carbon footprint of those fuckers. Like, starting around 1967, Impala, are you out of your mind? But then secondly, that thing is bound to break down constantly. I mean, really? They should have been in like a Honda Civic or something conscientious. When it was like, it came up in the script, it didn't say what kind of car, but it was like, Castiel has a car. And I was like, oh my God, this is such an awesome opportunity. And I was like, hey guys, how about a smart car? Because I thought it'd be really funny to have Sam in the passenger seat. In the smart car. And they were like, no, we're thinking about, and then they went with the Pitmobile, just because because the Supernatural producers hate the environment.
You're in Motor City.
And what?
You're in Motor City.
We are in Motor City?
Yeah.
So, are you telling me?
We'll love our cars.
Baby is much more aesthetically pleasing, and it's a classic muscle car. I mean,
True. Well, what does the fact that we're in Motor City have to do with anything? Well, I know what the fucking audio industry is. But what does that have to do with my diatribe here? I can still... You like classic cars? Oh, come on. The smart car is a classic. I mean, it's a classic. It's a sexy car. That's a chick magnet.
Say that.
That's only because you're in it.
Yes.
Want some pizza? Meat lovers?
I already have my pizza delivery guy.
Jesus, you already have one? Yeah, your pizza delivery guy?
Yeah, he delivered pizzas. in
Is he a
high
meat
school.
lover? All right, I'm gonna let this go. This line of questioning. Hello.
Fascinating. So I have a question. What was the most shocking thing you've seen a fan do at one of these conventions, other than those pizza?
The most shocking thing, I don't know. God, I should have a ready answer for that. I've had people come up and be like, hey, and, like, I don't know how many of you, I mean, a lot of you are probably, how many for our first time convention goers? Okay, so probably a lot of you still haven't even done a photograph with an actor, but if you come through the photos, you'll quickly discover that we're basically whores and we'll do anything. So people are like, oh, we pose with this, we pose, and so they'll hand you a stuffed animal or something, and someone handed me a little stuff, and I was like, what am I? Oh. She's like, yeah, I ran it over. And it was a taxidermied squirrel. But it was like home taxidermy? It was just falling apart in my hand, like little bits of like carcass were just like shedding off into my hands. So that was surprising. I've had people come up and be like, hey, can we bring a chair into the photo? Sure. And then I sit down and then it's like, oh, I'm getting a lap dance. I did this event in Australia where we were doing a meet and greet with the fans and we were sitting around and there were some snacks on the table and I grabbed something and I took a bite and then I got a napkin and wiped my mouth and set it down next to me and the girl that was sitting next to me, her hand just went like this. That was creepy. There was a fan that recently asked Jared and I a question when we were doing a panel together in Europe, and the question was, would you share with me your most traumatizing childhood experience? Which I thought was a sweet question. How about you? What is your most traumatizing experience?
Too many.
What have you seen? Have you seen anything strange?
Anything strange
Some
here?
strange fan interactions?
I think it's strange that me and my friend drove several states to come here.
Yeah.
This is not her first convention.
Well, way to call your friend out. That's really good of you. Not me, but my friend. She's crazy.
I just finished the Bernard show.
You just finished 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2
Oh,
days
good.
ago.
2 days ago. Holy shit. So you already had tickets. And then it was too late for you to be like, I don't care about this show. Yeah, I mean, all kinds of things. Like, we've had fans show up at our houses and, yeah, weird things like that. But yeah, it's all part of the deal, I guess. Thank you for asking. That was really fun. Hi.
Hi, Misha. My name is Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
I was just wondering, I loved your collaboration with Michael Sheen on your Supernatural Good Omens charity. And I was just wondering, what would a spin-off with your character Cass and Aziraphale look like?
That's an excellent question, but you've asked the wrong person. Because I haven't even finished watching Supernatural, let alone having ever watched Good Omens. Whoa! I've never seen so many hate stares. Jesus. I'm sorry, I have no idea. Can you help me out here? What are they like?
Aziraphale owns a bookstore with lots of vintage books and stuff.
So you're thinking we could do something with dust mites?
I don't know, you guys could open a fun coffee shop or tea. I know you really like tea.
Oh, I think that's a really good idea. That sounds like
tea
riveting.
and books.
Yeah, that would be good television. Let's try it. What could go wrong? It sounds like it would be very cheap to make. You just need a teapot, 2 actors, and an old bookstore.
It's environmentally conscious.
That's right. There's no impalas. Thank you for asking that very insightful question. Hi.
I'm so sorry.
It's quite all right.
What did you just say?
It's quite all right. Okay, well, this is,
Okay,
yes. This is suddenly getting awkward.
I'm so sorry.
What? I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
What did you say? What the hell's going on?
Okay, let's start over.
Okay.
Hey, Misha.
Hi.
Hey, Misha.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
What did you say?
He's bullying me. I can't. Anyway, so my question for you was obviously a big reason.
Was or is?
I'm sorry. Did you interrupt me? You're throwing me off.
Oh my God. Okay,
You're
go
ruining my
ahead.
vibe.
Fine. Woman-splaining me. Go ahead.
Yes, come on. Okay.
God, we started off on the wrong foot.
I can't. You already scared me. Now it's worse.
Okay.
So, obviously, a big reason a lot of the people love this show is because they connect with the characters. So, do you have a fictional character that you connect with in that way?
Yeah, I think so. Probably the fictional character that for me resonates, that I connect with most, is Castiel from Supernatural.
Who is that?
He's sort of like the hero of this show about to sort of bring
Can you
it
tell me
under
why?
walls.
Can you tell me why you connect with him? I don't understand why you would say that.
Well, to be honest with you, the two of us have fair striking resemblance. So that's one thing. I'm trying to come up with a better answer for you about a fictional character that resonates for me. I guess I take. No, I don't know. Yeah. It's funny because I was I was a nerd when I'm still a nerd, but I was a super fan of not of television or not of sci-fi characters or anything like that. I was a super fan of National Public Radio, super dorky shit. And so much so that when I was 18 years old, my girlfriend got me a birthday present. It was for my 18th birthday. It was we were in Northern Virginia, and she said, so I got a present for you. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I have to take you somewhere. And I was like, okay. She was really bad at keeping secrets, and I was like, okay, I don't want you to tell me, but just give me a hint so I can percolate on it. And she said, I'm not giving you a hint because I don't want to spoil it. And I was like, just tell me where we're going. And she said, no. And I said, fine, give me the address. And she said, 2020 M Street Northwest. And I was like, oh fuck, that's National Public Radio headquarters. So that was what I nerded out on. and was like, I just wanted to be in the hallowed halls of NPR, and ended up like interning there and then working there. And now I even have a couple of friends who are like old radio personalities from National Public Radio because I was just like enamored of them. But I actually did also take inspiration from some of those people and the work that they were doing. And as far as I know, they're not fictional characters. I think they're real people. Yeah. That child did not like my answer.
I'll take it. That's like the misha answer.
Hey, I think we actually kind of like.
I think we made up.
Like, I wouldn't go so far as say we made up, but we're mending fences.
Okay.
We're getting back to a better place, and I feel like now maybe we can, with a mediator, obviously, we could have further conversation.
Yeah, well, I have an off with you and Jensen later, so he can be the
mediator.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes, I think we need
Yeah, great. Please, yeah. Make sure that she keeps a distance from me. Hello. Hi. You're now approaching the microphone gingerly, like, I don't know if this was a good idea. How are you?
I'm amazing. You're my favorite character of every TV show ever.
What? That's amazing. You have incredible taste.
I'm trying my bad in a hard time. Okay. I don't know if I said my name. My name's Chantal.
Hi, Chantal.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
So one of my favorite parts of Supernatural is when the characters get to play another character. And I loved when you played Lucifer. So I was just wondering how you felt about that experience.
I had a lot of fun with it. So I watched Mark Pellegrino's performances. I just had like the DVDs, and I was like going back and watching scenes that he had done, and I was like trying to mimic his mannerisms and trying to get, trying to copy that a little bit. And then, as it turns out, Mark was in town in Vancouver filming something else, because he's always working, because he's actually a good actor. And he was in town, and I called him up and I was like, hey Mark, could I actually, it was the morning that I was gonna start filming Lucifer, I was like, hey, I just had this thought, like, would you actually just help give me some pointers on like what your thought process is as Lucifer so that I could maybe better, emulate you? And so I went over to his apartment and we went through the scenes that I was gonna be filming later that day. And he gave me some real great hints, but he also gave me this one very useful tidbit. He said, whenever I'm playing Lucifer, I have running through my head, and I'm having a conversation with another character, I ask myself, do I want to kill them, or do I want to fuck them? And that really helped with the character. As I was going through scenes, I was always like, that was always the question that I was posing. And interestingly, I found it sort of brought a little vibrancy and life to the character that just wasn't there when I was doing the mimic work. And I've noticed that it actually brings that same vibrancy to my waking life. Don't you wonder what I'm thinking right now?
I'm going with what I hope you're thinking.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Misha. So my name's Amanda. I'm the crazy fan that made Elena drive all the way here from Connecticut.
Oh, you drove from Connecticut?
Yes.
Holy smokes. That is crazy.
Road trip.
Hi.
So my question is, has there ever been a scene where you just kind of got taken out of the moment, forgot to act, and it was just your genuine reaction, personality?
I think most of the scenes that I filmed, I forgot to act. That's how you get that wooden performance of Castiel. on screen. I think this many, many times, especially on Supernatural, to be honest with you. Like, there were times I'm revealing things that I shouldn't reveal here, but after, working on a show for a dozen years and reading, what sometimes felt like the same script 13 times, there were times when we would start filming, like on a Monday morning, and Jensen and I would look at each other and be like, hey, have you read the script? And both of us be like, no. I mean, life gets in the way, So there are times when we would like go into a scene and be like, hey, so director, just what are your thoughts about, what's going on in the scene? Because we had no idea what was going on in the scene. And I think that sometimes that really came across in the performances. In TV, and this is the same for film, almost all the time, you're filming things out of sequence. There are things like the locations. So for example, if we're filming on location, say we're filming on a farm with sharks, and there'll be a handful of scenes throughout the episode that take place on that farm, but they're not necessarily all in sequence. But because it's so expensive to bring all the trucks and all the crew out to the farm, they'll shoot all the farm scenes together. And they won't even necessarily shoot those farm scenes in the sequence that they show up in the episode. And there'll be times, because we're shooting it out of sequence, there'll be times when we'll Sammy and the cast will do a scene and we'll all be kind of like lighthearted and laughing and, like the characters will be like chummy with each other or whatever, and then the director will come over and say, hey guys, that was great. Love to do one more time. Do remember that you just started the apocalypse. And we'd be like, oh, right, shit, sorry, thanks, that's useful. Oops.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi.
Hi, Misha. I'm Carly.
Hi, Carly.
I'm an actress, and
I'm so sorry.
I just booked an agent this past Tuesday using Cass's monologue to Dean.
What? I'm sorry you did a much better rendition of that than I did, but congratulations.
Thank you very much. So my question is, if you could go back in time when you were starting your professional career, what's something that you would change or do differently to, I guess, help guide your path better?
I probably would have, I would have booked the role of young Darth Vader. I really fucked up that audition. I'm not somebody that dwells in regret much, but every once in a while I'm reminded, like, I really fucked up that audition for the young Darth Vader. You didn't ask about this, but I'm going to tell you. Because I have a microphone and I can do whatever I want. Money just fell from the sky. My agent called and was like, hey Misha, the casting director for the new Star Wars movie wants to see you for the role of the young Darth Vader. So this was the second reboot, whatever, like the prequel, what the fuck? What was it called? Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Thank you, sir. Here. For your focus. So I go and I'm like, okay, can you send the audition material? Because usually there's like a scene that you have to do or something. There's no audition material. You just go to this weird hotel. So I'm like, somebody gonna just like take advantage of me in a hotel room again? Is that what this is? So
like halfway expecting her to be like, now pretend you're a pizza delivery man. So I go to this hotel in West Hollywood and I sit down with this woman casting director who just says, tell me about your life. And so for half an hour, I tell her about my life, and then a month later, I get a call, and it's my agent again. He says, so they want you to come up and meet George Lucas at Skywalker Ranch. It's down to you and 4 other guys for the role of Anakin Skywalker. And at this point, there were front page articles in the gossip rags about who was going to be the next Anakin Skywalker. And it was such a top secret thing that they said, so I had to fly up to San Francisco, and then it was an hour and a half drive up to Skywalker Ranch. And when they sent a driver from Skywalker Ranch to pick me up, but I was instructed that I was to tell the driver that I was going for a sound recording session for something unrelated. I couldn't tell anyone that I was in the mix for this. It was top secret, and to put the fear of God in me, they told me that for the first movie, they had cast a different kid to play the 7-year-old Anakin Skywalker, and he told his classmates that he had gotten the part, so they fired him, and the kid that was in the movie was their second choice. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to tell anyone. And I got up to Skywalker Ranch, and I was there a little bit early, and so I had like an hour to kill, so it was like this beautiful college campus, and I went this walk in the woods, and I came to this fence, and there were these llamas across the fence and these beautiful rolling hills. And I was walking back and I was coming across this little stream on a log and I slipped. And so I went into the audition with literally it's not an audition, it's just like a meeting in George Lucas's office with the casting director and George Lucas. And as I walked into the room, my foot is going, and my pant leg is wet up to the knee, which is not how you want to show up, right? But then the casting director was like, just tell George about, your life. But I was such an idiot, and I was such a young, kid. I was like, well, surely she's already showed him the tape, right? She hadn't. And I didn't want to repeat the same story as a second time in front of a person that I've already told the story in front of. So I talked about nothing for an hour with George Lucas, but I did get to play with Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from the original movies. And it had real heft to it. And I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking cool! And I finished my time there with George Lucas, and I had some time before my flight back down to LA, and so I had the driver bring me into San Francisco, and on the drive down, I was like, God, I want to call my best friend and just tell him what I had just done, because it was so cool. And then I was like, no, Misha, don't fuck this up. Just don't tell anyone, just don't fuck it up. And then I was in San Francisco, and I was walking down the street, and I went into this little pizza place, and I went to get a slice of pizza, and this pimply-faced teenager from behind the counter walked up to the counter and took my order, and I was like, kid, I just have to tell somebody. I was just up at Skywalker Ranch, auditioning for the role of Anakin Skywalker. I played with Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. And he was like, oh my God, that's so awesome, that's totally amazing. My cousin is Natalie Portman. My parents own the llama farm adjacent to Skywalker Ranch. What's your name? And I said, Misha Collins? My brain just oozed out on the counter, and I was like, what have I done? And just ruined my entire life. And I walked a block away with my limp piece of pizza in my hand. And then I came back in, and I was like, please tell anybody that I told you. Please don't say anything. But I'm sure he'd already been on the phone to Natalie Portman, like, hey, this is my Misha, hope that works out for you. Anyway, I didn't get the part, and I've always cursed myself, because I wound up getting stuck playing Castiel. Yeah, that's right. The moral for you is don't break your NDA, that's right. Thank you. Yeah, bye. Bye.
so my name is Wade.
Hi, Wade.
My question for you is a hot dog a sandwich?
It's funny, I hesitate to weigh into that. They've asked us not to talk about things that are too political. And I feel like that's one of those real dividing lines. Like, if I come out, you know, vocally on one side or the other of that issue, I think it's going to alienate a lot of the audience. So I just feel uncomfortable saying that. Of course, I do have my opinions about it, but I feel like this is probably not the appropriate space to share that. Does that make sense to you? I mean, I don't want to, I applaud you for being so open as to being willing to talk about these important things. Because it does impact our lives, like how we define these things is important. But it's also quite private. Wouldn't you say? And I want to try to respect other people's viewpoints, even if they're wrong. Is this something that you talk about openly, like your position on this, or do you just keep it within your family and church?
I mean, whoever's going to listen, I guess.
Oh, so you proselytize. Are you like one of those people at the airport? It's like, you holding up a sign, like, hot dog is not a...
I would say it's not. It's technically a submarine sandwich, I would say.
I mean, it's a free country. You're entitled, I guess you're entitled to your opinions and freedom of speech and everything, but also the words you have just said are pretty hurtful. Sorry, next question.
Hey, Misha.
Hi.
So, my name is Paige. Hi, everybody that's listening too. So I have a supernatural leg sleeve that I'm working on. Tattoos.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have baby. I have Castiel.
What?
I do. I have some San Dean in there. I have pie.
Has this already happened?
So a lot of this has already happened.
Because you're showing a lot of leg, but I don't really see it right now. Where is it on your leg?
It's on my calf.
I see. So it's something you're like, okay, I gotcha.
I'm working my way up, so most of my calf is filled.
Oh, that's a shame because I kind of want a cast to be like upper inner thigh.
I'm so sorry.
Like kind of an interesting wardrobe choice. You're here at a supernatural convention. You have a calf-length supernatural motif tattoo, but you're wearing tube socks.
Well, it's the fit, man.
I hear you.
So my question is, what should I add to my leg sleeve tattoo?
I would say an upper inner thigh angel blade.
Come on now. Who was here for the dildo angel blade?
Oh my goodness, I can't believe you went there, because that is not at all what I was thinking. I was just thinking like, you know, like a holster would normally, oh, shame on you, no. That's disgusting. Or, yeah, something like that. Or maybe a swarm of bees. I don't know. What happened here today? You need more. You need different. You need better. How about a shark and a bear fighting?
request it, I shall get it. So.
A pizza delivery man?
My friend has that on video, so
Okay.
I will.
Okay.
I'll tweet it out to you.
Okay, I'm sorry for having said that. I used to do this thing called GISH, the Greatest International Scouting. And at one point, early on, when I was doing GISH, I was like, my God, these people are fucking crazy. They'll do anything I say. I wonder if I was mustache twirling, I became evil. And I was like, what if I just made them, like, if they want a bunch of points, they have to get a tattoo. And I made them get, like, weird tattoos of, like, the Pope. And people did it. And people come up to me all the time and they're like, I got a Pope tattoo on my ass. And there's Pope's face on my ass. Look what I did for you. And I was absolutely horrified by what I did with my power. You wonder, like, what would you do if you have, like, the power to, you know, influence people? It turns out I will just have people permanently disfigure themselves. And I like to think that I learned from that, but apparently not, because I'm telling you to tattoo a pizza man and a swarm of bees coming out of your ass. So I'm a hopeless case. And thank you for drawing attention to that.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
Hi there.
Hey Misha, my name is Joey.
Hi Joey.
Tomorrow is my son's 21st birthday.
Oh my goodness. He is going to get so drunk.
He could have been anywhere, but he chose to come here this weekend with you guys.
Oh, well that's such an honor. Where is he? Is he here in the audience?
He's in the very back.
Where is he? Where is he?
All the way back close to the gym.
Will you like raise your hands in the air? Can't see, but oh, hey, what's his name?
Xander.
Xander. Shall we sing happy birthday to Xander? It's his 21st birthday. And he's squandering it with us.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Xander. Happy birthday to you.
Tomorrow, though, not today. We'll sing again tomorrow.
So, if you could go back to 21, what advice would you give to a new 21-year-old starting his adult life?
What advice would you give to a 21-year-old starting out his path in the world? Richard.
What advice would you give to a 21-year-old starting out his path into the world?
Mike?
What advice would you give to a 21-year-old starting their path in the world?
I would say, ask Steve.
21-year-old starting their path in the world. The advice I would give, yes, is to check with Billy Graham.
William, so check this out. I got shit-faced on my 21st birthday. I don't recommend doing that, because there's all the years after drinking that you have, right? So don't worry about spending all the 21st birthday on getting all the liquor in your system. Just pace yourself. That's what I would say.
Misha? I thought Billy was going to be like, Misha?
And the cycle continues. I think one bit of advice I would proffer that I think I wish I had known when I was younger is much like the answer to this question, life is actually quite long. And I think I made the mistake when I was young of thinking that every decision that I made was like the rest of my life. But it turns out you have so many chapters. So you can afford to iterate, you can afford to try things, you can take your time with things and trust that things will unfold in the time that they need to. You don't have to white knuckle it through every moment. I wish I had known that when I was younger.
Well said as always, very well said. Hey, you know what, we have time to talk. Do we? Yeah. All right. Fine.
He's taking another question.
Do you want to ask a question? I thought we were done, so now I'm really nervous.
You don't want to ask me? I thought this was a Q&A.
It's okay. We can do another one next time. It's like I was really ready to be done.
She looks like she doesn't want to go near the microphone.
No, she's afraid of the microphone. Go for it. Yeah.
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
Misha. First of all, thanks for all the work you're doing in Ukraine. My husband's from there. My mother-in-law still lives there, so it means a lot.
Wow.
Is there any scenes from Supernatural that still stick with you emotionally?
Love your question. It's like, thanks for all the work you're doing with the war. Now, Castiel, does he really love me? I think that my last scene on Supernatural still resonates with me. It was just like that very meaningful declaration of love. I think that still resonates with me. But I think even more than that, there was an episode where Castiel had a curse cast on him by famine, and he had to eat a lot of hamburgers.
I just rewatched that one.
And boy, did I feel sick. And I still feel sick because of that episode. I was young. It was like season whatever.
Yeah,
and,
we saw that one.
Yo, you guys watched it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Famine was the season where all the horses, right?
Yes, yeah, we saw that one.
Was that season 5 or 6?
Robert?
So I was still new on the show, and I didn't know things like you're supposed to just spit it out.
That's a lesson for all of us. If you have the answer, just say it. What did you guys do?
The whole front row here nodded like, oh yeah.
A lot of people learned that the hard way. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Shame on me. Yeah.
Misha asked me, he's like, is it a classy audience? Foolishly, I said yes, and I'm so sorry. Mind you.
I didn't know that you were supposed to spit it out. I thought you were supposed to swallow it.
Well, there's a t-shirt that'll be in the
And after every take, the Robin, who was our props girl, who also got saddled with the job of taking refuse out of people's mouths, would come up to me with a napkin like, da, da, da. And I was like, okay. And I had no idea, but by the time you get through take 25 and burger 11, you're like, it doesn't feel good anymore. Right?
So the lesson here is, if it doesn't feel good anymore, spit it out there, swallow it. I want to make sure we get the t-shirt right. Jake Jr. presents the quotes of Misha Collins.
Yeah. He's getting a taste of that.
I gotta get a little something for Daddy. Well, you just made it gross now, Rob. Your creepy little comedy look is being weird.
It was all fine until that creepy look of yours, Rob. You might cross the line. I, meanwhile, have been holding uncomfortably long eye contact with the people in the front row.
This is why they come. Listen, this is why they come to the front. You don't sit to the front of the whale show unless you want to get wet. You know what I'm saying? This is Shamu, the splash.
Thank you for calling me a whale, by the way. Thank you for acknowledging that.
I'm so sorry that these people are like this. I am so embarrassed.
It's pretty rude, crude, and socially unacceptable the way they behave today. Well, now I see why we haven't come to novi before. Luring. Yeah, this was suddenly it turned into an angry mom committing a hate crime. Yeah, they were fine with the fellatio bit of pronouncing the town and the bridge too far. Ladies and gentlemen,